In this video, I would like to explain about the stored procedure. So what is stored procedure? A stored procedure is a group of statements or query with a specific name. So we can call it later by the name. And it is stored inside the database. It can be invoked later by a program. It is similar with the function in any other programming language. Like we can create a query here, and then instead of calling the same query but with the difference or slightly difference parameter here, so we can just name this query as a procedure. We just give the name, and we can create a procedures that we can call later. Call this procedure. So we can invoke it later repeatedly. How to create a procedure? Stored procedure are declared using the following syntax. So it's like creating function or creating as a procedure in any other programming language. We create the procedure. This is using the keyword create procedure, because we create the procedures, and that followed by the procedure names. And inside of the bracket here, we put the in out or in out mode. This is the mode for the parameter, because in the procedure we can have like in as input parameter. That means it will allow us to pass the values into the procedures, and the out parameter will allow us to pass the value back from the procedures to the calling program. That means it's like a region, like a parameter for the region's values. And then after we declare the mode, in out or in out is combination of in as well as out, so it can be used as input as well as output. It followed by the name of the parameter and followed by the type of the parameter. Next, as you can see here, we have begin and end. So inside the begin and end, there is an action. So we can write the query here. So this is the main action. What is the query that will be done within the procedures. So when the procedures calls, then this action will be done. In short, we can see that there are three parts of the procedures. The one is declaring the procedure itself, including the parameter, and then begin the content of the procedures and end the procedures. Before creating a procedure, it is important to change the delimiter first. What is delimiter? Delimiter is the one that you find in the end of the query. Typically, it will be like this one, like the semicolon. So it is a sign. Sign. The end of the query, or we can say that it is the sign that the query is ready to be executed. Okay, so when you do the enter and enter again, it will not be compiled, it will not be executed unless it find the semicolon, because the semicolon is the delimiter. Now, before we create a procedure, it is important to change your delimiter into another form, like double slash like this one, or dollars, or anything else. Why? Because when you are creating the procedures, sometimes it occurs when you write more than one query. So for example, I create the procedure here, create procedure, and then begin, and then this is the first query. For example, select blah 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 something, and then I will end with the semicolon, and then another query. For example, select another thing, or do another thing, or update, or insert. Then this will end with another semicolons too, and then end. See? If you don't change your delimiter, your procedure will be executed in this stage, not all the whole procedures. What does that mean? Of course, this will result into error. Why it is error? Because you already start or already begin the procedure, but you never end the procedures because it's already execute when it met the semicolons. So that's why you have to change the delimiter first. So the code, the query will know that it is not really end of the query because we have to find the delimiter. So in the end, after the end here, and give the delimiter double slash like this one. So the SQL will know that it's already end when it met the double slash. And right after you finish creating the procedures, don't forget to change back your delimiter into semicolons. See? After you finish creating the procedure, change it back to semicolons. So later you can execute any other queries with the semicolons delimiter again. Now, how to create a procedures? Just like the previous slide, you have to use the keyword create procedures, and then the procedures names followed by bracket. Inside the bracket is the declaration of the type of your parameter, in out or in out, and then followed by parameter name and parameter type. Begin the action or the query here, and then end. So let's try creating a procedure, namely hello. So I change the delimiter first. Delimiters, I change to double backslash. You can change it to any other symbols. It is okay. And then create procedures hello. Okay. So in this case, I don't use any parameter. It is okay too. So you don't need to put any parameter if you don't want. See. So it is optional to use parameter or to not use any parameter. And then begin, and I try to select the hello word. So it will show hello word in the console. See, select hello word, and then end of the query, which means it will start here and then it end here because it already has double backslash. And last, don't forget to change back the delimiter into semicolons. Okay, now let's practice. Okay, I still use the classic models database. And then now I'm going to create the procedures. So I do the change the delimiter first. Delimiter, I want to change it into double backslash, but it's okay. You can change it to any other symbols. Okay, and then I will create procedure. I will give it name hello, and without any parameter. This is also okay. And then begin. It starts here, and then what I'm going to select hello word as greeting. So it will be as here will be used as the name of the column of the result. So hello word inside the column greeting. Select hello word. So I end this query using semicolon, and then I end the whole procedure using the double backslash. See, it's work. And then I'm going to change the delimiter again to semicolon. Okay, now it's right. Now, how to call or how to use the procedures. To use the procedures, we use the keyword namely call. So we call the procedures. We call the procedures. Call and followed by the name of the procedures. Call hello. The result will be like this one, but we will do the practice. Now I'm going to call and then followed by the name of the procedures as well as the bracket and then semicolon. Now this is the result. Greeting and then the content is hello world, just like what we create inside the procedures. Hello world, this is as greeting, that's mean it inside the column namely greeting. Next, how to check how many procedures we have, or what are procedures that are already inside in our database. We can use the show procedure status like this one. This is the query show procedure status. It will show all the procedures as well as its status inside our database. Now let's take a look at our procedure show procedures status. This is the result. I have hello procedures here that create at this time. Now, what if you want to delete or want to drop the procedures? Just use the drop procedures, like this one. Drop procedures followed by the name of the procedures. The result will be like this one. Drop procedures, hello, and then like this one. Now I'm going to delete the procedures. Drop procedure hello, like this one. Then okay, you can check again using the show procedure status. As you can see, there are no procedure namely hello procedures. Next, we can also set up a variables inside the procedures. There are several ways to set up the variables. The first one is declare the variable first. Declare variable first using the declare keyword and then followed by the variable names and then followed by the variable type as well as the size and the default, which means it will give the default value for your variable, followed by the desirable values. The example is like this one. As you can see, declare, this is the name of the variable, total sales, total underscore sales. The type is integer, the type of the variable is integer, and the size is 5, and the default value is zeros. So it's like we assign the values, the default values as zeros. However, we can change the values of the variables using set, like this one. Set the name of the variables and assign the values. Okay, in this example we use set total sales equal to 3. That means we assign 3 into total sales. We can also do another way, like using the select query. So this is the first way to set up the variable, to assign the values to variable. We can also do another thing with select query, like this one. Select query and then into the variable name from the table. So it's like we set up the variable from the column or from the result of the query from any tables, like this one. For this example, you can see select sum from amount column. So I get the total of the amounts and I will put it into the variable, namely total sales, and I get the data, I get the amount from the payments tables. So that's several ways to set up the variable. First, you can do with the set keyword. The second, you can also set up the variables using the query, like select. Select query, select something into your variable from what table. Okay, so that's the approach. Additional thing about the variables is this variable can be used. This default variable, like total sales, like this one, can be used inside the procedures as well as the function. So like it can be used inside the procedure, create procedure something, begin, and then you can declare the variable and end, like this one. You can declare the variable, set up the variable here, as well as in the function or trigger. But you can also create a variable that can be used not only inside the procedure or function, but during the whole session outside of the procedure, function, or trigger. It's called a session variable. The session variable is using at in front of the name of the variable. So for example, this is total sales is a local variable. If you want to create the session variable, then use at total sales. That means this variable can be accessed not only within the procedure or function, but also outside, as long as in the same session. So we call it the session variable. Okay, now let's practice with an example. We will create the procedure with in parameter. The first, I'm going to create the procedures, namely get the customers by the state. So I will create procedures that will return the name of all customers based on the given state. So like I'm going to check which customer from New York or from California or anything else. Okay, so I will create the procedures, and then name of the procedure is get customer by state. It's a bit long. Okay, and the parameter is in, because I want to use in parameter. The in will be the state. So like, okay, I'm going to check the California, then I will just write CA, and then if I want to check the New York customer, then I will just type NY and etc. NY and etc. So this one is the input that will be used as the parameter, and I will pass the values there in, and then the name is customer state, underscore state, the type is varchar, and etc. And begin, this is the start of the procedures. I will select the customer number as well as the customer name as well as the state from the customers table. So I will select customer number, customer name, and state from the tables customers, where this one you can see this is the condition where the state inside the customers tables, okay, the state in the customer tables is the same with the customer's state. Customer state here is the value that I will pass into the procedure. For example, I will type CA, then it will check the state that are CA. It will like, we can change it so many times. We can change it because it is only a parameter, so we can change the values repeatedly. Okay, so we can change GA or NY or anything else. So it will select the customer state, select the customer number, customer name, and state from the customer, where the state is like the one that I type in. Okay, and then and change the delimiter. The result is like this one. This is when I try to type NY as New York, I use the call get customer by state, and then I type NY, then it will get the result all of the customer from New York. When I try to type in CA as my argument, that will be passed into the parameter cast state here. CA will be passed into cast state and then will be used as the condition here. Then I will get the result all the customers from the CA. Let's practice. Now let's change the delimiter first. Delimiter, change to double backslash, and then create procedure. I will get the name is get customer by state. Okay, so I will get the customer by its state, and then I will use the in parameter, and then the name is cash, or just C state here. Okay, C state, customer state, and then the type is varchar. Okay, and then picking, I will do the selection. Select what? Select customer number as well as customer name as well as the state from table customers, where the state is like or is equal to state that is the parameter, the equal value with the parameter. Okay, and with the double textures. Okay, and then change again the delimiter to the default. Okay, see, it is quite easy. Now let's call our procedure. Call get customer by state. I'm going to check the customer from California, so I will just write this one. Yay, it's worked. So we can see the customers from the California. Let's try another call with the customer from New York. See, we can get so many customer from the New York as well as the California without need to do or need to copy paste this query. We can call the procedures repeatedly, like just change the parameter, then we get the result. Change the parameter, get the result. Called again. So it will be very useful instead of write again the query again, over again. Okay, so that's all. Okay, we end the procedure with the in parameter. How about the procedures that are using out parameter? Let's discuss. Procedure with out parameter is just like the procedure with in parameter. However, in this case, the parameter will be used as output. Will be used as output. Okay, so this is the procedure that are using more than one parameter. The first parameter is using in, and the second parameter is using out. See, this one is the input and this one is the output. So in this case, I will create the procedures count by status. So I will count the status of the order number based on the status. For example, the status of the orders is like shipped or being packed or pending and etc. So I will count the order based on the status. The input is the order status parameter. Okay, the order status parameter, which is the status, and then the output is the total of the orders. Okay, so it's like I'm giving in to the order status, and I'm reaching the values in form of total. I mean within the out parameter, namely total. Okay, so let's begin. So this begin, I try to select count the order number from orders. I count the order number and save it into total. So this is the out parameter. I save the count, the result from the count order number into total. But I only count the order number that have the status same with the given values from the parameter. So the same with the order status here, the input here, used as the condition to selecting the count of the order number. See? Okay, so I select all the order number into total, but only that are meet the condition, which is the status is the same with the order status, with this is the same with the values that pass into the parameter, and it will be out into total. So total is like you can see it's like a variable that are flying inside the procedure. So we have total here. So even though we don't use return here, but it's like, okay, I will float within the procedure, so I will contain the values here. Okay, so this is like a float variable within the procedures, out variable. So we have to catch it later. Okay, because this is float within the variable, because this is just this is float within the procedure, so we have to catch this total, this out parameter later in using select. So like this one, when we are called the procedure call count by status, this is the argument that will be passed into the order status, because this is in parameter order status. And this one, nah, as you can see, add total is a session variable. Why is it here? Because it will be used to catch the total that are float within the procedures. Just like I said before, this one, the total values here is float within the procedure. So we have to catch it. So we catch it using the add total. The add total is the session variable. So we catch the value total here with the add total. So it's a bit different. This is in and this is out. So we have to catch it with the session variable. See? So this is the result, like this one. Okay, let's practice. Now let's change the delimiter first. Delimiter, and then create procedure, namely count by status. And then I will use the in parameter, namely order status, parser, and then out parameter as total. Okay, this is the local variable. We don't use add in front of the name of the variable. The total will be integer. Okay, and then close, and then begin. I will select count the order number from orders where the status is equal to, select into, because we have to put these values into the total, right? So we have to select into total from orders where the status is equal values with the parameter order status. Okay, and end. Okay, and then try to call the procedure count by status. But before we do that, I almost forget again. Let's change the delimiter. Delimiter, change to this one, and then just do call, and don't forget to add the session variable, namely total order. Okay, see? Okay, yaps. Now, how we get the total order? Next, because we already pass the value shapes into these procedures, and we also catch the values from total to this total order, we can get the total order by using select add total order, so we can get the result. Yeah, now the total order is 300 something. Okay, I think that's all. Thank you very much for your attention.